Fabian Klaus here from the Guyana Revenue Authority. This week in Focus on GRA, we have some simple tax advice for the simple businessman and businesswoman. And we'll have a tax specialist who will be joining us to explain the importance of issuing a tax and sales invoice. This is where Focus on GRA begins.
We want the best facilities that this country could ever see, the best infrastructure and public utility, the best education for children in this country, the best health services and public security. But if we want to see such development in every community, then we must be fair and pay we full share of taxes and duty. Want proper bridges and coca, pay your tax. Better roads and safer, pay your tax. Better electric power, pay your tax. Clear potable water, pay your tax. Better schools and teacher, pay your tax. Better nurses and doctor, pay your tax. Better police and soldier, pay your tax. For a better Guyana, pay your tax.
Welcome, you're watching Focus on GRA. This is a program of information for taxpayer education. Now, if you own a simple business, we have some useful information for you regarding obtaining a trade license, paying taxes, and other requirements. Here's more.
Once a business idea has been realized and the business is in operation, its sustenance and growth depends on, among other things, compliance with the tax laws and regulations administered by the Guyana Revenue Authority. Whether you operate a small shop or snacket, a grocery store or variety store, or you operate on foot, the Guyana Revenue Authority takes this opportunity to provide simple tax advice to proprietors. Firstly, keep records of all your business transactions, for it's an offense not to do so. Record keeping can be as simple as noting in a book all costs or expenses you incur to run your business and recording in a separate book all sales or income you receive from your products, goods, or services. You should also keep bills or receipts to support your recordings. Records are expected to be kept for a period of 8 years. Secondly, total your records in a periodic manner. For example, daily, weekly, or monthly. This depends on the size of your business, hence the amount of business transactions you would have. This will help you to easily find your yearly income and expenditure statements to attach to a tax return. Once you earn, you should seek advice from a certified tax consultant who is recognized by the GRA. You may also seek advice from the GRA's Tax Advisory Services section on tax obligations of businesses. Tax specialists from the section are standing by to answer your calls, or they can engage you through workshop sessions at your convenience. Small business owners living and operating in Sophia were among the most recent beneficiaries.
If you work with yourself and you are responsible for setting the charges for the goods or services you provide, you are deemed as a self-employed person. You are required to submit, of course, your income tax return and, of course, remit all taxes to the GRA. Now, persons who are self-employed, because you are self-employed, you need to have that income and expenditure statement. That is what we would call the self-employed persons, done by a certified accountant, right? Those persons must be certified accountant and they must have a tax practice certificate. Now, that tax practice certificate gives them the right, so to speak, to practice and to do business of such.
Under the Income Tax Act, Chapter 8101, a body of persons registered in or carrying on business in Guyana must declare income earned at the end of each year and pay tax where applicable. The declaration must include income from all sources. Therefore, make it your duty to submit income tax returns and attach to it the income and expenditure statements you prepared, and then submit the return to the GRA on or before the 30th of April each year. The submission can be done online through GRA's e-services. The law requires that you declare true and correct returns, for it is an offense not to do so.
A lot of times, persons, they may just jot down a couple of things. And when it comes into GRA, it's incorrect. And you find that you pay taxes, yes, on that, but then GRA sends you another notice stating that you have this amount of taxes outstanding. And you're asking yourself, but I pay taxes, how come again I have to pay another set of taxes? It's because whatever was submitted was incorrectly done, right? And when we reviewed it, we found something was amiss. So we kindly ask persons, self-employed persons, to please get the service of a certified accountant, because they will know what to do, what not to do. And the good thing about self-employed persons is that you are allowed all of your expenses to be deducted. You have your income less your expenses. After your expenses, that is when you would pay taxes, right? So you have a plus there, in the sense that you're not charged taxes on the entire income, right? So it's the income less your expenses. But of course, those expenses must be directly relating to the business, relating to that income, right? So it can't be for hair, nails, and all these other things. It must be directly incurred for the business.
If you are employed by other persons or entities and you also have a business of your own, you must attach the emolument slip from your employer along with the income and expenditure statement of your private business activity to the individual income tax return you submit. During your first year of operations, find out about quarterly advance taxes with a view of making prompt payments if necessary when they become due. Most importantly, purchase all necessary license and/or practice certificates, which you will display at your business premises or have on your person while doing business. In line with the Tax Act, Chapter 8001, persons engaged in trade, profession, or vocation must be licensed. Tax compliance has advantages for any small business, one of which is quick issuance of a liability statement from the GRA. The process takes approximately 2 to 3 business days if there are no outstanding taxes or tax returns.
Applying for a liability certificate is almost as simple as applying for the tender compliance. All you need to do is fill the application form. That's it. And this form is the liability application form, which is different from the compliance application form. And the first line asks, what is the purpose of the liability application? And at that point, you're going to state whether it's for small business. Small business requires that we state what is the name of your business on that liability certificate. So for the one for small business, you are required to attach a copy of your business registration.
A small business will need this document when applying to entities like the Small Business Bureau for grants. The Bureau's Client Service Manager, Karen Harris, explains the grant offers.
Our grant is minimum 200,000, maximum 500,000. There is no guarantee that once you apply for the grant, you're going to get it. Because remember, we have to do our investigations and site visits and things like that. Also, not because you apply for 500,000, you're going to get 500,000. Based on your project, when we would have done our assessment, your project may need only 300,000 to get done, and so we will adjust our application and we let you know upfront that this is what you qualify for. After registration, if you're interested in a grant, you have to prepare what we call a business plan. We give the format. It's a very simple format where you say the type of business you're doing, where you expect to see a business in 5 to 10 years and things like that. Your competition, your area. There's 4 persons that compete with you for your business and things like that.
You're watching Focus on GRA, a program of information for taxpayer education. We'll have a tax specialist joining us on the other side of the break to talk about the importance of a tax and sales invoice.
Need to apply for a taxpayer identification number or TIN from the GRA? Here is what you'll need: ID, passport or affidavit of identity, and proof of address. This can be a utility or internet bill, renter's receipt, or a mail bearing GPO's official stamp. Provide the original and copy of these along with the completed application form. It costs $1,000 for a new TIN and $2,000 to reprint a lost or damaged TIN. GRA, your partner in development.
We're now joined by Carlita Edwards. She is in the virtual room with tax specialist Susan Watson to talk about the tax and sales invoice.
Hi there, this is your question in focus. Today, we will be answering questions about tax and sale invoices. Joining me to answer these questions is Ms. Susan Watson. Ms. Watson, when a customer purchases goods or services from a VAT registrant, should they be given an invoice?
A VAT registrant who is supplying taxable goods and services to a customer must provide a tax invoice if the value of the item sold exceeds $10,000.
If a registered recipient loses his tax invoice, can anything be done to recover another original invoice?
The registered recipient cannot obtain another original tax invoice. However, a copy can be provided with the words "copy" clearly marked on it.
Is it necessary to keep tax invoices received from purchasers and copies of invoices issued for the sale you made?
Yes, it is very important to keep all VAT invoices received because you cannot make a claim for a VAT you paid unless you are in possession of that tax invoice or customs document to prove that you paid VAT on purchases.
And finally, what is the difference between a tax invoice and a sale invoice?
A tax invoice is issued by a registered supplier making a taxable supplier to a person upon receipt of a taxable supply that exceeds $10,000. On the other hand, a registered supplier making a taxable supply will issue a sales invoice in lieu of a tax invoice if the taxable supply is in cash and does not exceed $10,000.
Ms. Watson, thank you for providing answers to the questions on tax and sale invoices. For additional information, please make contact with us on the numbers that are listed at the end of the program.
Thanks to our tax specialists in the Tax Advisory Services section for answering those questions. And that's all the time we have for this week's Focus on GRA. For more information on operating a simple business, operating a partnership, or the tax and sales invoice, visit our website, gra.gov.gy, or you can check out our YouTube channel for more of our videos. You can send us your inquiries via email, grapublicrelations@gmail.com, or taxadvisory@gra.gov.gy. Our contact numbers are 227-6060 extension 8000. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages for up-to-date tax-related information. Thank you for watching. I'm Fabian Klaus. Stay safe, everyone.